Sir, what an amazing
Hey,
song. Let me hear it a few more minutes.
yeah, listen.
What a voice, man. Let me say you thank you and congratulations for an amazing repertory. And I don't know, how do you know about South America, Argentina, Uruguay, Chile, Peru? Because everybody here loves you, but I don't know how much you know about that.
Wow, yo, I'm just learning, you know. I can't wait to find time to go out and visit these beautiful countries. The farthest I've been so far is Peru. I've been to the Amazon and um, some of the ancient Inca ruins, and I've been to Brazil, but I haven't been anywhere else in South America.
So the Amazon, the jungle, and the Inca ruins. You are into old and traditional things. You
Yes.
care. You are interested about that.
Um, I think I need to get out and see what's new and what's happening in the streets in all these beautiful places.
That's your own studio. Where are you right now?
Yeah, my home studio where I make music and record, write songs. I'm just very, very relaxed and comfortable.
Yeah, let me show you mine. I have my mic here, my keyboard, my guitars,
Yep.
and this is my interface, my audio
I
interface. What I'm using Logic and Ableton Live. What are you using right now? Your gear,
so my interface is the Apollo.
the best
This
one.
this one. I don't know if you can see down
Yeah, of
here.
course.
Um, and and then the microphone is a Rode microphone. I've got two setups in here, so more people can be working with guitars over in the corner. A couple of keyboards, one here, down here. So yeah, I have my setup is comfortable for me.
You have
It
lights,
works.
everything. And what software are you using right now?
Well, when I'm writing, I use Logic right now. In the past, I used to use Pro Tools. Before then, I was using Reason. In the past, I was using Acid. I tried to work with FL Studio. Um, I didn't like it yet, but maybe one day.
Yeah.
Ableton Live I used for a couple of years.
I remember the recent software and that FL or Fruity Loops in that moment. It was like the competition,
Yeah.
but urban tribe now they are using FL. But I understand that your music that is guitar based. I hear R&B. I hear rock. I hear soul. It's more for logic, not for like traditional composing.
You know what? I think you can do any composing on any of these tools. Some of them just make it really hard to do. And once you learn the tool, you can do anything you want. That's the way I figure it. I know artists who use Ableton. I know artists who use Reason, who use Studio One, and everybody can make anything if they're talented enough. So I just happen to like Logic because I've been using it longest. But I know how to use Pro Tools if I want to create stuff. I know how to use Reason if I want. Um, the reason I switched over to Logic was because um, it had, I think it was the sounds that were in the stock, some functionalities that would just seem really easy, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
and made
Do,
things
do, do
faster.
you do you, do you remember? Here in Argentina, "I Need a Dollar" was such a hit. It was all over in radio stations, of course, in digital platforms. But do you remember when you finally achieved your goal of being a musician and live thanks music? Do you remember that exact moment when you start being a professional, being a pro in music?
I would say, I would say I started being a pro when I got laid off from my day job, and I had to be a pro. Um, I've been I've been making music since I was really young. In high school, I was recording and releasing music on vinyl, on cassettes, on CDs. And then I think the professional started, the moment that I felt like a professional was when I Need a Dollar became big and I was going to Europe, England, France, and doing TV shows. And I was all over the media. That's when I started to feel like, okay, this is a professional job.
And what about that day job? What can you tell us what was?
I was working as a business consultant in the health sector, helping hospitals to improve their service, helping insurance companies to transfer their, some digital into the digital era. And it was cool, but it wasn't my passion. Music was my passion.
Yeah, we can realize, and thanks God that you are into music. You know that here in South America, a lot of people thought that you were British, that you were born in England. I don't know why that happened. Do you have that knowledge about that in different countries they didn't know that you were American?
Yeah, I think some British people thought I was British as well. So Americans think that I'm from Europe, and some Europeans think that I'm from their country. But ultimately, I think there's mystery. That's important because nowadays it's hard to have any mystery with artists. As long as there's something for you to discover and say, "Oh, wow, I didn't know that." That makes another moment where I can go deeper into your heart.
You know that some people that really like instruments and that kind of sound. I call it the wood sound, no, the wood from trees and not machines. They really like you, and I don't know, they really like Amy Winehouse and not the R&B and that kind of stuff. But there is also a fandom of yours because of Avicii and electronic music and how do you combine those worlds yourself?
Well, I think what it comes down to is having a message lyrically and finding the right kind of voice that is going to cut through any production. Doesn't matter if it's dance music or if it's acoustic. What do you guys call it? Son de madera? Right? Like wood sound. And
Madera.
yep. And so just finding the message and the lyric, and then the voice and the tonal quality that's going to cut through no matter what. And that's what I feel I've been able to do with my voice and my lyricism, making sure that it doesn't matter if it's synthesizers and big drums or a piano and a guitar.
Yeah, you know that, well, we miss Avicii a lot. What can you tell about them? How do you remember him?
Yeah, I feel terrible that he's gone. Like I wish that he was still here. I wish that more people had reached out to him. But when he passed, we didn't know. We didn't know that he was struggling. When he passed, everything felt like he was great. We thought he was in a good place. So, I learned from him about the dedication, the focus on, getting the melodies just right. I'm not an attention to detail person. Only when it comes to words am I attention to detail. When it comes to production and other things, I need someone like Avicii, like Tim, who's going to be focusing and making sure every sound is right, every moment is proper. That kind of thing is really important. And he was really, really good at that.
Am I right if I say that he was beyond electronic music? That he was like
Way
a
beyond.
composer?
Way beyond. I think he was just using the tools that were given to him, and he had a computer, so he was able to do it in that way. And when you're not a trained musician, you find ways to get your ideas out. I'm not a trained musician in that way. I still use instruments, but I'll hire the right people, and that's what he did. He hired the right people. He found me to be the voice and a lyricist. He found Mike Einziger to play the guitar on Wake Me Up. And he found so many other voices and musicians that helped him to build his vision. And for me, that's that's the hallmark of a producer. He was a real producer, but
I
way
didn't know
beyond.
that. I didn't know that lyrics were yours. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, almost anything you ever hear me do would be my lyrics. Of course, on my biggest hits were my lyrics. So "Wake Me Up," "The Man," "I Need a Dollar," "Loving You's Killing Me," "Love Is the Answer." These are all my lyrics. My new album, all my lyrics. But with SOS, that was a situation where he had written the lyrics. I didn't know that the song existed, but he had my name written for who should sing the song in his notes. So when Tim's family found his notes, they reached out to me to ask if I would sing this song because that was what he wanted. And of course I said yes.
If I talk about your lyrics, of course, in the man or even I Need a Dollar, like this connection with untouchable things. I mean, spiritual things. Are you into God? Do you believe in God or in
Yeah,
energy? Who do you say thanks to?
for me it is thanks to a greater being, a higher being, something that is connecting all of us. Um, I'm doing my research and studying all different religions to see if there's one practice that I will stick with. But so far, I feel like there's a combination of different practices and different um, ideologies that feel good to me. And at the end of the day, I am a good person to people, and I want to help people. I think that's the strongest sense that I can think of. My wife grew up in the faith of Baha'i, and I found that that's probably closest to the way that I feel. I grew up with the faith of my mom is Catholic. She's from Panama. My dad is Christian, Pentecostal. He's from Panama as well. So I grew up with a very Christian, belief and upbringing, and I've expanded my thoughts and ideas around the practice of religion. But in the end, it's all still, my heart is in the same place about how do we treat people, how do we treat the planet, and how do we act as human beings.
Yes, you're very active in those kind of things beyond music, and your album also it's going that way. Do you feel like this is like you're a channel from the universe? Do you feel yourself that you're not only music, that you have to spread a message?
Wow. From a young age, I felt that. And then some days I would go, as I got older, just feeling like, oh, I'm um, just an artist. And then more recently, I've been like, no, I'm an activist. No, I'm an artivist. I connect my art to my activism.
Artivist. I never heard that word before.
That's it. And that's what we are. We are artivists because we are using our voices to create positive social transformation. And, you know, most of the activism that I've resonated with has come in concert with, connected to great artwork. Great artwork. Like if you look at, you know, let's say Stevie Wonder wrote a song called Happy Birthday, Martin Luther King, and it helped to get Martin Luther King's birthday become a national holiday in the US. Or we look at Bob Marley. He was an artivist, One Love. That is a song, an activist song, spreading and pushing and forcing for love, right? We look at James Brown, Say It Loud. That was an artivist song. I'm Black and I'm Proud, for the movement for Black lives that exists ever since slavery, of course. And even,
Yeah, you
trying
make
to
me
think of,
think. Imagine John Lennon. You make me also remember that image of two politicians in Jamaica. Thanks, Bob Marley joined their
yep,
hands.
that's it. So, artivists, John Lennon was an artivist. There's so many others that I could name, Nina Simone and Joan Baez, Joni, Joni Mitchell with her song, um, They Paid Paradise, Put Up a Parking Lot, Big Yellow Taxi. So there's, we have different ways to do it. And there's a visual artist too, people who are making paintings and creating visual art. There are filmmakers who are creating films and documentaries who are artists. We all have a role to play.
Yeah, that's amazing to know that is not just entertainment, no?
It's not just entertainment, but it is the way to get to people's hearts and minds faster than just words.
Yeah, and you just mentioned that your parents are from Panama, so you have a ritmo latino. Your last music has this Latin vibe, and you know that Latin people is very proud of the last few years because Spanish spoken songs they spread all over the planet. Did you imagine this could happen when you were a kid?
You know, I didn't imagine, not in the US. I could imagine at least, for Europe, that they would accept Spanish spoken songs because they have to accept languages that are not their own, especially English language, quite often. But to see Spanish language music taking over everywhere, even Africa, Australia, Asia, I think it's beautiful. It really is. I have in the past done some cover songs of some of my favorite salsa music from Ismael Rivera from Puerto Rico, I should say, and I did a Spanish translation of John Legend's "Ordinary People" years ago, and then I wrote a song dedicated called "Patria Mia" to Panama, dedicated to my parents' homeland, and then I just did a Spanish version of my new single "I Do." So I did a Spanish version just because I was like, this feels like something that everybody in the world should be sharing, and I don't want to make people miss it just because it's not in their language. And Spanish is something I have access to, so I should do that.
Let's practice. Practiquemos un poquito. ¿Cómo está tu español hoy?
Hoy mi español eh, es bueno, es bueno. Yo no hablo en español mucho porque yo falto palabras. Necesito aprender más palabras y yo tengo problemas con conjugación.
No, pero está bastante bien. It's pretty good. Está bien. It's like my English, Qué bueno para Panamá. Hard history, of course, like all Central America. Did you go back to Panama? Do you go often?
Um, I went to Panama a few months ago with my mom. I've been to Panama for Carnaval. I've been to Panama to visit my family. I'm hoping I can get back soon because, COVID is keeping us from traveling, but I want to go again soon.
What did you learn about this matrix or unbelievable experience, no? Talking about COVID and this quarantine time. Here, for example, myself, I'm 120 days at home already.
Wow, yeah.
Already, and I know they are in states, some cities are in a position, others are in other, but it's not an easy moment. What did you learn about this experience?
I learned that we are all very connected. The problem that we face is one where we need to recognize that you don't exist without me, and I don't exist without you. As a matter of fact, just being next to you could mean that we affect each other in a way that could cause somebody's death. So we need to be responsible for that. We need to recognize that we all are responsible for one another. This is that moment. And you're home for 120 days. I've been home since March 14th. And that is showing our commitment to helping the planet and the people. We need everyone to show that commitment because this is a new disease. We're used to saying seeing a disease that is easy to get rid of. But this one, this is a different thing, you know?
Yeah, I feel almost the same. And going back to the activism, if I can give you one power, only one, to change one thing, talking about the world we received before the quarantine and the one that we're gonna face in the near future, if you could change only one thing, what that would it be?
Oh, um, most important, and this is a global kind of answer, is to vote with your heart. You have to vote with your heart. Right now, think about it.
You're talking about politics, the voting, the
Politics,
poll.
everyone everywhere, right? Voting with your heart is the best way to stand up for your brothers and sisters in your community. Voting with your heart is the best way to stand up for the future of the planet. When you vote with your heart, hopefully it's aligned with your religion, your religious beliefs. What do you truly believe? What does your religion say? And when you vote with your heart, you find the right kind of leaders. You'll find the right kind of leaders. That doesn't mean vote for whoever's available. It means find the right kind of leaders whose hearts are in the right place. That's the hard part. And if you can't find them, then maybe it's you. Maybe you're the person that needs to be that leader. If you have that kind of heart, it's
I'm the man. I'm the man. I'm the man.
and so what I found is I'm trying desperately here in the U.S. to educate people on what are the issues, how can we make changes. You look at the type of leaders that you have, and you have to find people who have a heart, and they are there. They're just hard to find because they don't promote themselves. They promote other people. When you find them, though, you need to lift them up. Like in the U.S., Martin Luther King was not the leader of the civil rights movement to begin with, but people recognized his heart. And all of the elders, all of the people in the movement, the older people said, this is the guy, we need him. And they brought him in. So if we can find that, anywhere in the world for anybody's, city, state, country, that's what we need.
You surprised me. I never thought you were going into politics. Let me ask you, because you are Latin and you're black, and this world, we understand that the difference could be a good thing to, as you said, to get each other more connected and not to separate ourselves. It's good to be different, that everybody is different from everybody, but we have a lot of things in common, but we are different. That's my opinion. Everybody is different. I'm different instead from my sisters. And how did you live being Latin and being black in States? Did you get bullied anytime? Did you have to jump more barriers than the others, or you have a quiet experience?
I'll answer in a few different ways. Number one, my connection to hip hop made race and ethnicity not really an issue. In hip hop, it is a grouping, a combination of so many different people that we don't even think about race, we think about skill. Either you're whack or you're dope. That's what hip hop is. It's not black or white. It's not Latino or American. It is dope or whack, right? That's the only discrimination.
But what means dope and whack?
Oh, whack means terrible. Dope means good.
Talking about talent.
Yes, talking about talent. That's it, just talent. Growing up, I was one of maybe 5 black kids at my school. So there wasn't even a discussion about Afro-Latino. It was just, I was black, right? And then when I went to university, I was in a group an organization with a lot of African American students. So now here's a difference. Okay, you're not really black, you're Latino, right? So then there's that. I never got bullied. It was never an issue like that. And never really felt any discrimination from other kids and my community in that way. But there was definitely a difference. I felt like I had an advantage actually because I could speak in different codes. I could speak in the code of the African American experience. I could speak in the code of the Afro-Latino experience and somewhat the Latino experience. And I could speak in the code growing up in a white community. I could speak in the code of the white community. And so I felt like I had a cheat sheet and I was able to get through and go through different environments really, I think really easily.
And do you think America, talking about states, it's getting better?
I do.
Time?
I think it's getting better. What we have, unfortunately, right now is a corporatized news media. The corporate news media helps to fuel the fire of difference, and they help to make it look like everybody is against everyone else. I think that there's so much change happening.
So they're
right?
helping in a bad way.
In a bad way. The corporate news media. Why? Because they have to earn money from advertising in order to get viewership. In order to get advertising, they need viewership. In order to get viewership, they need controversy. What is the biggest controversy they can spread? Well, in America, it's race. It always is going to be race until we decide it's no longer. And this next generation, the young kids now, the ones on TikTok and all of that, they are the ones experiencing multiculturalness. They are the ones experiencing the wave of Latino music coming from South and Central America.
They
are the ones who are making hip hop the biggest global genre in the world, right? And so because of that, they are experiencing cultural difference, acknowledging it and accepting it. So they're telling their parents, you're wrong, you know? And these changes are happening. But the news media, they're not highlighting that because they need to earn their money from advertising. And
that's really true, because let me tell you that I lived a Latin experience all over the world because I used to travel a lot. But here, for example, everybody admire, and sometimes without a reason, the black cool feeling or the way they move or they dance, or I don't know if it thanks Michael Jordan or Martin Luther King or who, but here everybody loves different cultures. I mean, TikTok kids or Instagram kids, they don't have this difference. Oh, take care. We have more difference when we are close, and that's dangerous. And maybe it's because of this thing.
I feel like the music, the vibe, the drum, it all is bringing us back to that original where we all come from as human beings. It's deep inside of us. And this music, this drum, these movements, they're all coming from, I want to say, it's coming from Africa. We all have, that's the connection that we all have.
I was going to ask you, how African do you feel?
You know, I feel very African, but I don't think that it's because of just my skin color. I think it's because of the connection to the music that I have that is so rooted in traditions and sounds that come from Africa. But everything, if we're talking about humankind, then we have to take it back. And that's where we are all connected. And I think that's why right now this music is helping to bridge that gap. It's bringing us all back. It's taking us into the earth and giving us that wood sound, you know?
Yeah. You know that here, I'm not going to offend you. Please don't get it wrong. But there was about a few years ago one journalism that came with your music, and he told me this is the new Robert Johnson. Did you heard that about you sometime?
Roy Johnson?
No, Robert Johnson, the blues guy.
Robert Johnson. I have not heard that, and I don't know if I know who Robert Johnson is. Can you remind me?
Yes, he was like Mississippi cotton era, one of the first blues guys.
Got it. Okay, so this is okay. With I Need a Dollar, I was mimicking that style. I don't know Robert Johnson, but I was definitely mimicking the blues.
I'm telling you, this is the guy. You're gonna, of course, you're gonna know he's like the father of blues. This guy. Let me show you. I'm gonna put you here. The sound. Well, there is no pictures about him, but this is the sound. This is the guy.
Oh, Robert Johnson. I'm sorry. Yes, this is the guy that they say. This is the guy that they say sold his soul to the devil, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Totally no. Yes. Yes.
And this guy,
yeah.
You have to hear Aloe Blacc because he's the new Robert Johnson. He really likes to say that everybody's the new someone. No.
Right. No, I totally get it. I was using I Need a Dollar as a style of lyrically and vocally, like field recordings that very much come out of, and the blues comes out of that tradition of field songs. And so, yes, Robert Johnson is totally a comparison to make. I accept that.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna tell him. This is the last. I promise. You made some Christmas issues or
songs
or music. Why was that? It was your idea. Somebody introduced you that idea. How can you explain your Christmas music?
I wanted to do something that was fun. I have kids. My kids are 6 years old, 7 years old, and 4 years old. I wanted to do something fun that represented this great season. And when I made the songs, they love them. They sing them over and over again. They have fun. And I thought, look, if I can have fun with my kids, then everybody else should be able to have fun with these songs too. And I released it. It was also like, how can we give a different sound and different vibe to Christmas? James Brown did a Christmas album, and it was funky and soulful. And Motown did a soulful Christmas album. And I thought, I want to jump in and make something that's funky and soulful as well.
So you're happy with the result, of course.
Yeah, and for me, it's also something that it's just every year. It's something that we can share, and I don't have to necessarily change it. It's going to be there forever.
Aloe, all of the respect of not only of myself, all the Billboard Latin team, it's honor to talk with you. We are very glad that you have new music. I don't know if you're gonna launch new music in this quarantine. There is no tour dates right now. Everybody's asking when are you coming to Argentina, to Uruguay. There is no dates, no hay fecha, chicos. There's no aeroplanes. Frontiers are closed, so he don't know. But what about the next step of your career?
Yeah, I am, like I said, I have kids, so I'm working on some songs that are, more along the lines of like for children, and trying to find ways to give them ideas about humanity and compassion. I am talking to my friend who's on this, watching us right now, Jason. He's a dancer, movement artist, and considering how to share what movement artists do with music on a television programming. So coming up with a new show called Recording Session to show dancers and producers making beats and how the dancers move to their music. And I am thinking about fashion. I have some ideas for clothing, some leisure and you know, comfortable casual wear. And then right now, super involved in politics. Like every day, 2 or 3 phone calls with experts, legal experts, politics experts, senators, representatives to try to fix these issues in our system, in our justice system.
You're gonna be a congressman one day?
No, not necessarily, because once you are a public servant, you have a lot of limits. There are things that you can't do. What I think is I will work with those people and do the things that they can't do because they're not allowed to, because they're stuck, right, as a public servant. So, you know, I think I'm in a better position outside of
Hello.
politics.
All the success, all the good vibe for that achievements. Really honored to talk with you, and hope I see you next time in a better world, that world that you are describing right now.
Man, I hope so too. Thank you.
Take care, take care. Thanks.
Adios.
Adiós, adiós. Ahí Aloe Blacc con nosotros, mis amigos. Un verdadero lujo que nos hemos dado en esta tarde noche de viernes, aquí desde Buenos Aires. Bueno, Aloe ahí en California. Realmente un placer cuando uno puede conocer un poco más a los artistas que escucha, a los artistas que admira, a los artistas que le encanta. Espero que hayan disfrutado tanto como yo. Hope you like. Excuse my English. This is what I got. This is what I got. Have to give. Y no se muevan, porque en 12 minutos aquí para todos los argentinos se viene el Aurora Festival y quiero hablar con uno de los DJs que va a participar, además uno de los DJs más importantes de Argentina, el señor Meme Bouquet. Así que corto, grabo la grabación con Aloe y grande Eli, grande besote. Corto, hablo con, grabo la grabación y me voy con Meme Bouquet. Y cuando termine con Meme, les quiero presentar a para uno de yo, está mal si digo que es uno de mis pollos, porque yo no tengo nada que ver con su carrera, pero sí les puedo asegurar que es uno de los que me llamó más la atención del Festival Argentina en la Casa, de los nuevos referentes, está muy relacionado con María Becerra, se llama Roger King, y vamos a tener un lindo live a partir de las 20. Así que no se muevan, se me cuidan, y sobre todo cuidemos a los más viejitos, que nos necesitan más que nunca. Chao, que Dios los bendiga.